It was another day at the General Assembly. Committees would meet, bills would be heard, votes would be taken. I arrived early because I knew I needed a seat in that committee room, knowing the room would be full, with some standing around the perimeter. The bill that VAIB was concerned about was only one of many that would be heard that day, but it was a priority issue. This was a bill we opposed, along with a few others who held to biblical values, and there was quite a crowd there who were in favor of this bill. The committee chairman called the meeting to order as he banged the gavel, and the room grew quiet. After hearing several bills, the one that drew me here was called up. The sponsor of the bill explained his bill, why he felt it was needed, and then the chairman called for testimony in favor of the bill. 15 people lined up to speak. University teachers, college students, government workers, and other private citizens, along with the liberal lobbyists, who all spoke why they felt this bill was needed. Then he called for those who opposed the bill. There were only a few, and I was last to speak. When I came to the podium, I shared why VAIB was concerned. This bill will impact our churches and their ability to spread the gospel. Pastors will be hindered in preaching the truths of God's Word. We did not want to extend special protections for certain groups when it was not needed and could negatively impact our religious liberties. The chairman then allowed those on the committee to make comments. And finally, the sponsor of the bill made his last plea. A member of the committee made a motion to pass the bill, with another giving a quick second. Each member's name was then called to record his or her vote. Thankfully, the bill was defeated on a 7-8 vote. The bill was defeated for now. Many have asked me why the VAIB is needed. The reason is simple. Our voice as independent Baptists in Virginia must be heard when there are laws or regulations being created that will affect our church's ability to spread the gospel in our communities. Each year, legislation is being brought forward that would impact our churches financially, physically, spiritually, in being able to fulfill the mission of the gospel. Your voice, and collectively the voice of the independent Baptists in Virginia, stand in the gap to ensure these laws and regulations do not pass through uncontested. The VAIB is important not because of the organization, but the collection of voices that make up the VAIB taking a stand in Virginia for Christian liberties. And your voice is what gives the VAIB the ability to effectively stand for our Christian liberties at the Capitol, providing the continued freedom for churches to minister effectively. Simply put, the importance of the VAIB is that we work to unite the voices of the independent Baptists in Virginia to enable the ministry of the gospel to continue in our communities without interference. During the 2014 General Assembly session, VAIB worked on numerous issues affecting our communities, churches, and Christian liberties. Tax protection for churches passed as new legislation. While churches have long been protected from paying property tax, there are some instances where local governments have challenged the exemption to every piece of property owned by churches. Church parsonages and properties which have buildings used for ministry have also been recognized as being exempt. However, some undeveloped properties have been questioned. House Bill 156 helped clarify the exemption for some of these undeveloped church properties. We are thankful for legislators who do all they can to help protect our churches. 2 years ago, a law was passed requiring an ultrasound before an abortion. Since that time, at least 500 women in Virginia have declined having an abortion. The value of saving lives is huge. This year, 4 bills are introduced to remove this requirement and associated penalties to facilities which don't carry out this requirement. We must hold the line and hold abortion facilities accountable. More importantly, we must continue to press on to reduce abortions in Virginia to save more lives. We lost some ground with Sunday hunting. Virginia has had a long tradition of no hunting on Sunday. After nearly 20 years of challenging this law, Sunday hunting passed in a very limited fashion on private lands. We believe this will have little negative impact on those who will attend church, as most churches are not in areas where hunting will take place. It took years to resolve a problem with high school graduation speakers being reprimanded or worse for mentioning their faith. Since that time, Others have faced problems in general school settings for wearing clothing or referencing their faith. Senate Bill 236 would give clarity in this area. This bill passed both chambers, yet the governor vetoed the bill, believing it was not needed. 4 bills were introduced to provide special protections for sexual orientation in various areas. VAIB is thankful that all of these bills were rejected, realizing that there are sufficient protections against discrimination for everyone. To list special groups would elevate their position above everyone else, and in some cases could limit religious liberties. The governor vetoed Senate Bill 555, hurting chaplains in standing for their beliefs. Chaplains in the Virginia National Guard have expressed some frustration over having their sermons edited by superior officers. These superiors believe that religious messages should be as neutral as possible, while some chaplains believe they should be able to speak according to their convictions. Those in the General Assembly overwhelmingly stood with the chaplains, while the governor vetoed the bill, believing it was unnecessary. For years, public colleges and universities have had free speech zones to accommodate those who want to speak in an outside forum. Why would there not be complete freedom to speak anywhere and at any reasonable time? This bill addresses this issue to provide protections to those speaking in any outside venue with reasonable restrictions. While most people believe that the First Amendment clearly protects free speech, greater restrictions have come gradually over the years, especially in public colleges. And this is the place where free exchange of ideas must be protected. Of course, lawsuits have been brought and judges have decided that same-sex marriages must be allowed. These suits continue to move toward their final destination of the U.S. Supreme Court. The world may recognize and affirm same-sex marriages, but God's Word has not changed, and our churches must stand firm in holding to marriage as being between one man and one woman. VAIB will continue to be a voice in speaking out on this issue. Many have asked me about the types of legislation and regulations we fight for as the VAIB. We are not politically aligned and do not endorse a set of political ambitions. Our desire is to see Christian liberties in Virginia held firm for the sake of our churches and our ability to spread the gospel. As you can see, the voices of the Independent Baptists of Virginia have to be heard at the Capitol, as important decisions are being made in every legislative session that have a great impact on our churches. This year, we have developed a program called the 14,000 Voices Campaign. This campaign is to have 14,000 independent Baptists agree to do 3 things. First and foremost, we need your prayers for the work we are doing day in and day out at the Capitol. Religious freedom is under attack, and we need God's wisdom and insight as we work strategically to counter the constant threats to the work of our churches in spreading the gospel and in ministering in our communities. Register. Sign up for our Capitol alerts at vaib.org. When an issue comes up in the Assembly, we want a powerful voice that can respond swiftly and effectively. When we tell our legislators how the Independent Baptists in Virginia feel about a piece of legislation, we want to be able to back it up with a Capitol Alert subscription, 14,000 strong. With 14,000 registered for our Capitol Alerts and on our Facebook page, we will project a strong voice for quick action on important issues. Give. Can you afford to give $5 for the sake of religious freedom? We are asking for every Independent Baptist in Virginia to consider giving $5 outside of their church's support to see the work of VAIB continue. This past year, we significantly upgraded our look and communication plan, and we need additional resources to continue moving VAIB forward into the future. We are thankful for your involvement. We trust that this legislative update was helpful. With all of our voices together, The VAIB can, will, and is making a difference, standing for our Christian liberties.